All right, let's talk about Blake Wesley.
I want some nasty. Are we having fun yet?
All right, so quite a few people have asked me, what do I think about Blake Wesley? Clam, why haven't you made a Blake Wesley video? You're talking about Malachi Branham and Josh Primo, but what about Blake Wesley? Well, guys, let's talk about Blake Wesley. So honestly, I do like him. Okay, so before anyone gets upset at all about this video, I do like Blake Wesley. I think that he has stupid amount of athleticism. I recently did a tier list on athleticism. I had him top tier, like out of everybody on our team. Easy, okay, easily the most athletic player on this squad. But with that being said, there's a few things to his game that I really believe he's going to have to hone in on. But at the same time, I'm not going to sit here and overly criticize him for the Summer League. I've been getting this quite a bit where a lot of people, and it's such a silly argument, okay? A lot of people that say Blake Wesley just wanted it more out there. Blake Wesley was just playing really hard, playing really tough. He's the one that looked like the second or third year vet. And meanwhile, Josh Primo and the other guys, they just don't look ready. And it's so silly. Guys, it's the Summer League. Do you understand how the Summer League is constructed? These guys go into the Summer League, specific players, mind you, come in with a certain mindset of they have to show you that they're worth it. Who else on this roster right now that we drafted, okay, will have to absolutely show that they deserve to be in the NBA? Obviously, he's going to go 120 miles per hour, and he's going to really try to put up as many shots as possible to try to show the Spurs that he deserves a spot at least on the bench this upcoming season. That's just what the position he's in right now. Now, players like Josh Primo and Malachi, I also would like to add that those are type of players that play a little bit more methodical. They're a little slower with it, okay? They kind of want to pick apart the defenses a little bit more. And that's just their nature as far as that's how Malachi was in college, and that's how Josh Primo was last season, essentially. That's just the type of players they are. And this type of environment isn't necessarily gonna hone in on their skills, and it's not necessarily gonna let them shine as much. But even with that being said, how do I feel about Blake Wesley? I love Blake Wesley, but I do think that he's going to need quite a bit of development. It just is what it is. Now, with Josh Primo being out during this game 3, and it's just Summer League, okay, we're not overly criticizing, but with Josh Primo out, Blake Wesley did not look good. But I also would like to add that game 2, no one really looked good either, except for, a couple players. But this previous game, he went 3 for 20, but honestly, and 0 for 7 from 3. But honestly, a lot of this came down to Blake Wesley. He goes 120 miles per hour. He doesn't necessarily slow down. And he drives and kicks. He drives and kicks, or he drives to his left and gets blocked, or just tries to make something happen. Now, it's not necessarily a bad thing. I think that he's just trying to display his athleticism, and we already knew this about Blake Wesley before this season, or pre-preseason even started, when we talked about a lot of prospects before we even got Blake Wesley. In my video, you can go back and watch it. I talked about how Blake Wesley, when he's on, and when he's off, he gets a little out of control sometimes. And that's just a matter of his development, and that's just a matter of him trying to prove himself to the masses. But don't get too wrapped into Summer League, okay? Blake Wesley is just out there trying to show that he belongs, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he's better or worse than any of the other guys on the team right now. It means nothing. When it's all said and done, Josh Primo is the one that's going to get significant playing time. It just is what it is. He deserves it. And right now, as it stands, he's probably the better player. And then Malachi Branham, the same thing. He's the 20th overall pick. Sohan, same thing, 9th overall pick. They're probably going to get a few more opportunities than Wesley. So he's playing in that atmosphere of, I have to prove myself. I have to show what I'm worth. I have to show the Spurs that I deserve to be on that court. And in turn, things like this can happen where he gets a little out of control and he goes, 3 for 20, but it's fine. Okay. The positives about Blake Wesley that I absolutely like, I think that he does have some mama mentality to him. Okay. It seems as if when the game is really on the line, he can get better, to the point specifically in game 2, he ended up hitting 2 big shots at the end of the game, when things got pretty tight. So he definitely shown that, hey, I got some dog in me. Okay. Not only that, I feel like his defense was pretty good. And when I talk about his athleticism, this isn't something where it's like, oh yeah, he's pretty athletic. No, he's stupid athletic. His first step is absolutely incredible. And I would also argue that his ceiling is one of the highest on this team. Okay. I'm actually doing a tier list on ceilings with my boy Impeccable, and you have to watch that video. We're going to do all of the ceilings of these players. And I would argue that Blake Wesley is top notch, based on his athleticism alone. And he seems like a very hard worker. He seems like a gym rat. So he's going to be able to hone in on these things. But as it stands right now, if you just want my overall thoughts on him, just by Summer League, okay? Obviously things can change. Just Summer League, it seems as if he plays a little too fast, and he's going to have to slow it down just a little bit, control himself just a little bit. And once he gets a little bit more muscle, I think that he'll be able to finish on some of the drives that he was attempting to make. But as it stands right now, he definitely needs some work. Okay, he's definitely more of a project. Maybe not as much as Don Barlow is a project, but he's definitely someone that's going to have to hone in on those skills. But I tell you, if he manages to get to that level where he can slow his game down a little bit, where he can pick his spots a little bit better, where he can even pass quite a bit better, because some of his passes were just a little too quick. I don't know how to explain it. Just his pace is a little off. But as soon as he's able to hone in on those things, he could potentially be the best player on the team. Okay, he can. He could be that. But I'm just not going to jump into it right now and say, oh yeah, he needs to be a point guard. I mean, I saw some articles talking about this where it just blew my mind. Like, why are you feeding into this notion right now? No. As it stands right now, the best point guards on this team, at least going forward into this season, that makes the most sense would be Josh Primo and Trey Jones. And I don't think that there's much other room for that. Another thing too, and I could be completely wrong, and it can get like it could be way different than this, but I would love to see Blake Wesley eventually taking on the role that we wanted Lonnie Walker to take, being kind of that sixth man that comes off the bench that can also facilitate for his teammates and be like a huge spark plug, because his athleticism is just out of this world. So that's my future. Like, that's my perfect future, is him being able to come off the bench as a sixth man and run the team, run the bench off the bench, run the bench off the bench. Yeah, if he could do that, I think that would be absolutely incredible. But as it stands right now, those are my thoughts on Blake Wesley. Please let me know how you feel. I know that that's not the most popular thing going around, especially around Spurs Twitter. I mean, everyone and their mom is saying how Blake Wesley is the next Jordan. But I just think when it comes to him right now, don't get too sucked into the atmosphere that is the Summer League. These guys go out there, and specific players, and like someone that's in Blake Wesley's situation, is going to go 150 miles per hour. And it's just a matter of trying to show what he's worth, because he knows that he's kind of an odd man out. And not only that, he actually said that, if you guys don't recall, and I'm about to end this video in a second, but as you guys recall, Blake Wesley actually did say this. He said during the workout with the San Antonio Spurs, when they were doing their 3v3s, he felt like he had to outperform everyone on the court, because he felt as if he was the odd man out, that these guys had bigger names than him, specifically Malachi Branham. So he had to really show that he's worth their pick. But anyways, and he did the same thing with the Summer League. So take it with a grain of salt. I'm not going to sit here and hinder on his 3 for 20. It doesn't matter. It's not that big a deal at all. So yeah, but anyways, I'll give it to you guys later, man. You want to support the channel, only $2 a month. Patreon and YouTube links below. Until next time, thank you guys so much for the love. Deuces, man.